He literally he's just walking. You should see the apparatus he has where it's got the switch like attached to his chest and a monitor. And he just walks around and he's just got like, water bottles attached to his hips with hoses to his mouth so he can stay hydrated the entire time, but he doesn't have to stop. He doesn't have to put the controller down. It's impressive.
And there's a bag attached to my thigh.
Yeah. It's very impressive. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for some fun? Oh, he's got water. The future is now. That's right. Let's do this. Let's see if we can remember how to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to ZNB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast, live on our new home of Twitch, the Purple. Back home where we belong, frankly.
It's like we're still putting it out everywhere. It's just like an extension of the reality we already exist in.
Right, yeah.
I don't care. Too bad I don't care about this show because I have this.
Too bad I don't care about this show. There it is. Now, how many 12-year-olds did you have to forearm shiver to knock out of the way to actually pick that up?
It was a fairly tame 12 o'clock last night. I hopped in line about 15 minutes beforehand, and they had one line for all the schmucks who didn't pre-order ahead of time, and then all the Goombas who did. I was one of the Goombas that did. I walked right in, got my thing, and I left. So
interesting.
No shoving today.
So they were actually taking orders right then and there. Wow.
They were, yeah. I mean, people were camped out in front of Best Buy for hours, but. Yeah, I didn't have to do that.
I had heard, again, the launch happens or is getting ready to happen. And of course, all of the IGNs of the world is like the sky is falling on everything Switch related. But people were reporting that Targets were canceling orders and stuff like that. And, they were already being shipped out, out of stock signs and stuff like that from Nintendo. And then, of course, the whole big, they have to have a gate of some kind, right? You got to have some kind of gate with a new release. Now we got Screen Gate, apparently, which I'm assuming is not even that big of a deal, right? Have you heard about this? The Screen Gate thing?
That people are accidentally taking a film off of the screen of the console.
Is it really that easily to take off? Like, he's going to try it.
I mean, it's what it looks like, by the way. Obviously.
There it is.
I could not. People are stupid. People are just really stupid, dude. Idiots.
I love it. I mean, again, I don't have one, but I kept looking at it going, I don't see how you could easily make that mistake.
No,
but
I have seen Best Buy employees or Target employees, whatever, they will staple the receipt to the front of the box, and it actually punctures through to the product and thus breaking the screen.
I heard about that as well. So you're telling me that the card, like, it's so close to the top of that cardboard that that there was no protective anything?
It's just they trying to cut down cost on whatever, and then I mean, it's secure, but clearly you shouldn't be stapling anything to the product itself anyways. So, it's just employees that don't know what's going on.
That's crazy. And I cannot wait to hear more about it. We're going to get into more about that with you, because I want to hear what's going on with you and all that stuff and whatnot. But we do have a action-packed show planned for you on the ZNB Live Unfiltered Lego podcast. Again, our new live home of Twitch, but never fear, YouTube fans. This show will be going up over on YouTube in its edited form, posted out immediately after this show concludes, as well as all of your audio podcast channels, like Spotify and Apple Podcast. And I know the great mods out in our chat here, our live chat here, have got all the links, and they're out there posting them like crazy because they're fantastic moderators, and we love them dearly. Ain't none of them got kids, or ain't none of them married. All of them got kids. It's tragic. But we've had a small break, and lots of stuff has been happening in both the Lego world and our personal lives, and all along the entertainment, sphere. Mr. Bricks O'Brien teased us a little bit with his Nintendo Switch. This is, man, you've been waiting. You've been salivating for this. You've been waiting on this. I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that this is like your first Nintendo console launch that you've been a content creator for. So this is a big deal for you.
Well, I've been a content creator for a while. This is the first one that I have been Bricks O'Brien for. Whereas before I've worked for other companies, or, it's been part-time or whatever. So this is like, the first one. And, I didn't, there was so much going on before it that like, I didn't plan anything else special for this because the Kickstarter just wrapped up. But then, it's a new era of not just Nintendo gaming, but like what I can produce from videos out of it. Like how can that, change everything? So, it's really cool to kick that off, and already taking steps toward leveling up everything I do. And, and I kind of, you either use, obviously it's like high school, college years, whatever years, but a gamer, you could probably measure your life in console life generations. And if I think back to like when the Switch came out and where I'm at right now, it's night and day. So I can only imagine where things will go from this point here. So it's very exciting and very cool.
I think what's even more exciting is listening to somebody from Boston say the word era over and over and over again. Era. It is a new Switch era for us out here in the good old Nintendo era world. Era.
So what have you been up to, Zach? What you got going
Nothing.
Whole lot of Disney.
Whole lot of Disney, man. That freaking mouse took all my money. Once again, that mouse just continues to take all of my money. How dare that mouse constantly taking all my money. Freaking mouse. But I tell you what, man, it never fails. We take a small break. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, in this case, several. But man, the Lego gods laugh in our faces every time we have to take a break and say, we're going to drop all the news on you all at once. And boy, we started off June pretty heavy with new releases. And my God, I just quick, Bluey, Botanicals, Disney, Icons, Minecraft, my God, there were so many new releases out there that it's going to be hard. We can't go over all of them. We can't talk about all of them, and maybe we'll sprinkle in more as the weeks go on here, as we're back on track. But I don't know if there were any that kind of stood out in your mind. The one that I obviously want to talk about is this Krusty Burger thing, being a Simpsons fan and kind of a return for Simpsons and whatnot. But are there any of the June releases that really kind of like stood out to you and said, you got to get your hands on these?
Nope.
This man is tunneled vision on Switch 2, and that is it. It's all you got, folks.
It was that, and we just did the Mario Kart as part of that collaboration. Obviously, you were part of, and then just kind of reveling in that for a while. August will be a different story, but I didn't pick up anything. This Krusty Burger is good when you look at it, but I'm sorry for you, Zach, because when you look at it compared to the Quickie Mart and compared to the house, I am not a Simpsons fan, but I look at that and I'm like, man, there is something missing with this set. So I'm curious what you think about it.
So here's what I don't understand with this was, well, this goes back to Lego in general in its current form. For some reason, they seem to be taking a step back with overall like size and I don't know, design's not the right word, but just
Inflation.
is that what it is? Because we've seen this with so many other sets recently, the U-wing, the tumbler, like some of these sets that have history already with being sets or in a family of sets where and they seem to continue to take steps backwards with these newer releases, and the Krusty Burger is the newest example of that, where they have an established architecture already available to them, and they do this set. They kind of pad the piece count a little bit by adding in a car, but you don't get all of your Simpsons family of characters, which is odd, but yet they give us a Sideshow Bob, and it's like we give you a little, but we take a lot, kind of thing. And there's a lot, they have spin on a lot of this stuff. So obviously one of the major pain points for a lot of people on this set are the stickers. They can't stop talking about just the amount of stickers they have, as opposed to going the extra mile and doing some printed pieces on some things. They specifically highlighted the Krusty eyes had to be stickers, and the designers themselves came out and spun that and said we couldn't actually get something to work right without it or something like that. And it was a weird.
These are 2x2 round tiles, aren't they?
Yes. So they spun it in a way where they said that they couldn't make them brick built because they wouldn't look right. And they showed an example of somebody trying to brick build, make them brick built or something like that. But what the pain point seems to be is every 2x2 tile you get is like, okay, well, there's going to be a sticker that is associated with that 2x2 tile, and so on and so forth. And it just, masses amounts. And they did something interesting. They made it an enclosed set. And a lot of us Lego fans, the adult Lego fans out there, are always like, oh, we want enclosed sets. We don't want open backs. We don't want open backs. And they chose a building that's a pretty boring building to give 4 sides to, which I thought was interesting. And then decided to have that one open up. I thought that was an interesting choice as well. So I don't get it. I don't understand where sometimes they come up with, the ideas that they come up with. But once again, to have what was supposed to be a, celebrated return to Simpsons kind of fall flat for people, and then to also include a pretty lackluster GWP that people just kind of looked at and went, huh? Like, this isn't going to entice me there's nothing in here that's going to entice me to get, like, they didn't include Marge and Maggie in that. They could have given you this GWP and said, that's where we're going to put Marge and Maggie, right? We're going to put them in this GWP and that's where it's going to be. And you get it in time, you can get the full family or whatever. They didn't even do that with this. So it's been an odd choice, but there are a lot. I mean, they did well on a lot of the other sets that they did release. They did well on the Disney sets. They did well on the Idea sets. The Ninjago set. Can we talk about that Ninjago Guardian Dragon? I mean, there's a set that they did right. Like, that is a magnificent set. Basically the same piece count as this set for $50, $60 less, which is also interesting. Again, I know Simpsons carries a license and whatnot, but there's if you wanted a set that should be at the top of your June list, that Ninjago Guardians Dragon is right up there. I can't believe how big that thing is. That's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And there's been a lot of really good stuff in Harry Potter as well. All of the new additions to that lineup, that Privet Drive is really awesome. The tower portion, the Great Hall portion, whatever of the castle is really cool. So yeah, there's definitely some really value appropriate sets, but some of these not nearly as much. So that inconsistent kind of benchmark people have had. I don't know, man. But that Hogwarts Castle main tower makes me want to get back into Harry Potter, even though I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen.
Well,
But
the
you know
Primitive
it.
Drive
No,
one is really good too. I like you said, that one was sneaky good.
yeah, and it's enclosed, which is totally fine. And like the roofing of that Simpsons Krusty Burger reminds me of like an Animal Crossing set where it's very like diorama like. And when you just when you compare it to the other two that have come out, you're just like, man, this is really not hitting. So yeah, it's whatever. Some of the Fortnite stuff came out. Did all the Fortnite stuff come out? And I totally missed it.
Not the mech guy, whatever he's
Yeah,
called.
Not the one people actually care about. So okay,
Right.
cool. So
Which
the other ones did.
I think that what's it called? The Clombo thing.
Yeah.
I think people are digging that. I mean, again, the Fortnite sets look good. Like they do. They look good. I mean, I didn't really see anything wrong with them. I mean, again, price wise, they were maybe a little bit more expensive than where they were originally, but we'll get into that because there's an interesting idea there that we might be seeing a trend on as we move forward down into the coming soons. But yeah, I don't know. The Fortnite stuff is what it is. I'm not a Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite lately because of the Star Wars event, and I'm loving the heck out of it. When that Star Wars event is gone after this weekend, I'm done. It's gonna take a lot to get me back, keep me playing Fortnite. But that mech coming out soon, yeah, I want that just because it looks cool. And it looks like it's going to be an amazing build and it's interesting. And I love mechs and I want to do, I would love that on my shelf and to experience building that and everything. I think it's going to be great. They just had I forget the number. It was a lot. They had a lot of sets drop, in June on that June 1st date. And that's after already those mid-May releases that we had dropped. The Mario Kart was one, like you said, you and I built that with a few other amazing humans, and I loved that Mario Kart set. I absolutely adored that set. It was so good. Once again, interesting choices, right? They didn't include an interactive tile when they could have. No Easter eggs to speak of when they could have. And those were staples to a Nintendo set leading up to that, right? Outside of maybe the Piranha Plant, right? The Piranha Plant didn't have an interactive tile, right? If I remember correctly, and didn't really have any Easter eggs to speak of. But when you go from the Mario and Yoshi for that Mario World set, right, to that, like to go from that level of interactivity that it had to absolutely nothing in the Mario Kart set is odd. It's an odd choice that they make. And I scratch my head. I want to be in a room. I want to be a fly on the wall and understand what is happening. Like who's making the decisions and why. Why are they choosing these things? I don't get it.
Yeah, we even see that with How to Train Your Dragon making its first debut, and you look at it and you're like, this is not what people really wanted out of it, and it's definitely a different take and whatever. But anyways,
yeah, we'll get into that, as we get going. But the overall thought process here with some of the decisions Lego is making waves currently, and a big one that people talked about. Lego finally dipped their toes in the Book Nook pool, right? And boy, I tell you what, every time I say Book Nook with Lego, I feel like I got to use air quotes when I say it, because it was like they kind of knew what a Book Nook was, but they really felt like they needed to put their own spin on it. And I don't know, so, the one that they kicked off their whole idea of a Book Nook with the Sherlock Holmes thing made sense, from a creative standpoint. It looked kind of interesting. Didn't have a back, didn't have a top, still kind of odd. The people that are Book Nook enthusiasts must, they were kind of, what are you doing? That's not really a Book Nook. But then they did the Harry Potter Hogwarts Express, and that was like kind of worked more as a bookends as opposed to a Book Nook. They still called it a Book Nook, but it was like kind of strangely overpriced. And then they gave us that Balrog turd, and my God, I I I really wanted to love every Lord of the Rings thing that they did, and they're just making it more and more difficult with every release they're doing right now with the Lord of the Rings stuff. The Shire was overpriced. This is ridiculously overpriced for what you get. I don't even know how you spin this set as a good value or a good buy. Like, this thing sucks.
Yeah, the only thing I like detail wise is you have the gray, obviously, of all the pieces, but then the back where it has that burnt orange, like it gives the effect of it being like illuminated orange due to the flames. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. They could have just made it all gray. It's fine. That is the only thing I like about this. Literally, the only thing. No other way to spin it. You could have just taken the Balrog out and had it as its own thing with Gandalf for $60, like they did that Galactus, which is now official. Same thing. Could have done that. Make it 70. Whatever. You don't need to shoehorn it into a book nook that doesn't add any value to it. So why that decision? To help promote the line and to get people further interested in this idea that Lego can do book nooks, that we can do this, and it's to accompany the shoobity hobbity hobbity, right? It's probably some politics like that. This is not a good value. And even if you get it 50% off, the volume of stuff you get, you're going to be left unsatisfied. Somebody who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings, I know it's iconic. I know you get the printed tile. Is that a printed tile, actually? Is that?
On the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You get a printed tile. You get the Balrog. It's iconic. Gandalf, iconic. No, absolutely not. Not a chance.
Well, what's really iconic is his very oddly placed whip.
I have no context.
You should look at some of the promo materials that they have for that thing, and his oddly placed whip is a very interesting choice. It's such an iconic moment in the story. For it to fall so flat is such a shame. And the box art really oversells the atmosphere you get with this set, because when you don't have a nice, contrasty printed box that it goes with, dude, it falls completely. When it's sitting on a shelf, it falls completely flat. When you try to actually turn it into a book nook, it falls completely flat. If you try to open it up, it falls completely flat. Like, it's just not a good set, especially for the price. And yeah, there, the Balrog can come out of it and everything like that. But here's been the interesting take on all of this is sets like this, sets like the Krusty Burger, some of the other interestingly priced sets that we've seen, the reactions have really been negative from the standard fan, but also our Lego ambassadors are also.
That's when it's really bad when they're talking about how bad it is.
Dude, they've been taking Lego to task on some of this stuff lately, and look, we've heard it. People really can give land members a lot of grief about how they're bought and paid for, right? And they're never negative. And but you've heard it. I've heard it. Everybody in our chats are like, some people in our chat have said it. Like, you can't trust what they say because, Lego sending this stuff for free. Dude, they have been legit not happy with the stuff. And they're calling them out. They're calling them out on the price. They're calling them out on the lack of detail. They're calling them out on the lack of care. And it's been refreshing to see their own Lego ambassadors taking them to task on this stuff. And the Balrog set's a prime example of that. They're just looking at it going,
the sky is blue, dude. Like, how can you spin it? And at what level do you lose your integrity if you try to spin it and try to justify it? I tried to spin it just then by being like, well, maybe like part of a book nook line they want to promote. But what an awful corporate markety shilly reason to like justify this product being a piece of garbage. Yeah. So at some point you can't deny it. And then if those people tried to oh, we're gonna flub it. Then you lose all credibility, and then you prove it right. Or I mean, the proper way you do it is you just don't cover it, and that's generally what I do in a lot of circumstances. If I don't love something, I don't just talk about it. Like I think I don't know what the stipulation of a contract is of a ambassador when you're with Lego, whatever. I don't think you need to cover everything and be like, you certainly don't need to accept every offer you're given, for sure.
Right.
Now, if you choose not to take a bunch of them, would that impact what you receive in the future? They probably say, no, it doesn't. It's totally fine. It definitely does. So you want to play nice as much as you can. That's like your boss being like, oh, well, you should really come in at 7 o'clock, even though it says 7:30. And then, you get no bonus at the end of the year because you didn't show up at 7, some stupid like that. So, but I don't think you need to put out the press release on your Instagram and copy and paste the description from the press release. I don't think you need to do that for every little thing. So maybe some of those things we can just omit and just not bother with it and whatever. That's what I would do.
Yeah. No, I agree. And they're, they've been doing a good job. So just remember, folks, like the LAM members are out there. They're being truthful. Just give them a little bit of grace on this stuff. Cause they don't want to come out. Obviously, like nobody loves to come out and be just negative Nelly about everything that they see and do. I hate doing that on this show, which is why I cannot wait to talk about these idea sets that they came out with in June, because these idea sets that Lego came out with are absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. The vending machine and the Pixar Luxo Junior set are incredible sets. Now, it was interesting. We got the F1 blind box things, right? And people were kind of complaining that they were taking up a CMF line that we would have gotten this year. You get so many a year kind of thing, right? And they were saying that this took up a slot in that CMF lineup that we would have gotten. Okay.
What?
It was a thing.
Who said that?
People. We're just going to leave it at people. Now, that being said, this vending machine kind of takes the place of it.
I got 2 words for you.
Oh, yeah?
Nostalgia bait.
Nostalgia bait? Oh, all of the stuff inside of it? I'm fine with it. Bait me like crazy, baby. I want to be baited so bad. That set is dope. And it's a nice, army maker almost, because you got multiples of the different ones. And it's fun, dude. It's a fun set. The mechanics of it are amazing. Like, you have to put the coin in order for it to turn, and it won't turn without it. You can't turn it the wrong way by accident. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's amazing, right? They knocked that idea set absolutely out of the park. Couldn't have killed it anymore. And then Lego gives us the lamp and does it even better. This Luxo Junior lamp, my guy, is one of my favorite sets of all time. I'm not even lying. I was freaking out over this set the entire time I was making it. And then, without giving any spoilers away, throughout the instructions, they highlight different Easter eggs that they're putting in, different representations of Easter eggs. You remember we had the thing in the NES, right? Where we had, level 1-2, right? Underneath, whatever. And it was just like little representations of Mario as opposed to, little representations of pipes and stuff like that. They take that idea in this set and they turn it up to 11. And they have so many Easter eggs that they call out in the instruction book. I was like, wow. And then as I'm building it, I'm like, well, that's kind of a bummer that they didn't do this or they didn't do that. And then all of a sudden I start sitting there going, wait a minute. Was that random piece here? Was that so-and-so? Wait, was that oddly colored brick here? Was that such and such? And it was. And they don't even call it out in the instruction. They just leave it up to your imagination to figure out and discover on your own. But I swear to God, they hit almost every single Pixar movie in that set. And that is incredible. Is it incredible?
Even the good dinosaur?
I
That
couldn't
movie's
believe
all right.
it. I couldn't
All right.
believe it, dude.
It was all right.
Dude, see, like what is it? Seeing Red and Good Dinosaur. They put both of them in that thing.
Turning Red is
Turning
not
Red. Turning
Pixar.
Red.
That's not Pixar.
Turning Red is, I think. They put it in there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, so some of those movies are like Disney animated movies.
Yeah.
Like Wreck-It Ralph is not a Pixar, but it's like
Wreck-It
a
Ralph's
Disney
right.
animated.
Same style, but not a
Kinda,
Pixar. Right. So Wreck-It Ralph's not in the set.
Yeah, Turning Red is the Bean Mouth era, as I like to call it.
Era. It's a new era in era Pixar era. Yeah, there it is.
Both of these sets fall into the category of I want to build them, but I don't want to buy them or keep them.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to keep? Pixar. Why would you not want to keep this Luxo Jr.?
I'd rather have a character. I know that the Luxo like embodies all of Pixar and the legacy and everything else. This would be something if I ever had the honor of going, and I don't even know if this exists. Well, like at Pixar Studio, right? You go there and there's a company shop and they have it there. And then I get like there's somebody from the animation team to sign it that like when you go to the Lego tour, inside tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
You whatever. That's kind of what I would do. But I don't know if I would buy it because I more closely associate with the characters. I want like a Sully and Mike Wazowski, right? I want something like that. I want like a Wall-E, like I built and bought and loved. Stitch in the 626. No, Stitch is not. That's a Disney proper, right?
How dare
like the characters themselves is what I mean.
Yeah, but it goes like this goes really well sitting next to that Wall-E because it's an icon. It's an icon of Pixar. Like it really is. It's its own character. It is a buildable character. That's what it is. And,
yeah, for sure.
And so and the fact that you can interact with that, the ball, and you can either choose to have it sit next to it as it is in the product art we have here or sit on top of it, I think is great. I'm screaming now in our era of Lego built signs that we're all of a sudden getting between Star Wars, Marvel, Nike. I want a Pixar sign now. Like I really, really need a Pixar logo. That
each letter would be like 3 plates big, not even.
You could do it. You could do it fine. Considering how big Keith Haring's dancing figures were, you could do all of the letters that size and have it scale with this Luxo Jr. And you could literally put him in there in the eye. You could put him in place of it. They give you the eye, right? But like you could literally remove the eye out of it and put Lux. You could scale it that way, and it would be amazing.
It'd be really cool if they engineered the eye so that it's collapsible, where you can take the Luxo and like
squash it. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I had any amount of engineering talent at Lego.
Yeah, I just it's just please Lego give me the Pixar sign. I just you gave us such a great representation, and I mean it really is. Unfortunately they probably won't, because this really does feel like the definitive Pixar set because of all the Easter eggs they put in. They really like went for broke on it, you know what I mean? Like they represented everything they possibly could inside this, and you wouldn't think that. You're like, it's got a ball and it's got a base, like where could they hide all of these things? And they just strategically found ways to sneak all of those things into it. And it's a builder set. It's one of those builder sets that I love to, categorize like that, where you're not going to see it after the fact. You can't show anybody that stuff without literally ripping the thing apart. Right. So it is your set. All that stuff's in there, and you had such a good time trying to figure out what things represented while you build it. And that's really, and matter of fact, I'm so excited. We got 2 of them because I knew the wife wanted one, and I knew our son, he always called him Lampy from when he was a baby, like Lampy. And so he needed a Lampy in his room. So I was like, we're going to need to get 2 of them. And I love what they've done here. It's such a good set. And I may or may not have bought a little light kit to go in the next one to to light up that light bulb.
Mean, of all the ones to get a light kit for, that's the one.
That's the one. I'm actually surprised if there was one like gripe slash nitpick that I could make with this set is the fact that they didn't incorporate any kind of light brick in that bulb because they have a
Well,
little.
yeah, because then they'd have to put, this will absolutely kill you if you ingest it in any capacity. Make sure that you do not ingest the battery.
Yeah. It's still a shame though. I would have taken the giant thing on the box to incorporate a light kit so you could literally just push the back of the thing and have it light up because they easily, the way it's designed, you could have easily incorporated that. I'm not really sure why they chose not to. Once again, it's a weird choice for them not to do something there. But hey, that's Lego in a nutshell. Wow, that was just June, and we're not even close to wrapping up all of the amazing things happening in Lego because they have a plethora of new sets that they've announced that are coming. Just when you thought your wallets were safe to go back into the store, Brian, they continue to hit us over the head with more and more new sets. Now they slow rolled these a little bit. So we know we've had some Star Wars stuff coming out between K2SO and a buildable battle droid. Now we've got things like the Miles Morales helmet, which is really just the Spider-Man thing that I have in my background here, just recolored to Miles Morales. But again, if you're a Spider-Man fan, I mean, whatever. That's all you. They've got a fantastic looking Cruella de Vil car coming out with a great Cruella de Vil minifig go with it. I mean, that set is a chef's kiss. I cannot wait for that set. That's going to be great. But then they hit us with a very timely property because for some reason, Lego had a calendar in Denmark this time. They're giving us a How to Train Your Dragon set just in time for the release of the new film and, of course, hot on the heels of Epic Universe's amazing kickoff there in Florida. But the How to Train Your Dragon set is being released as a 18-plus set in a very cutesy, interesting design style that has very much been met with mixed opinions. What was your opinion of it?
I understand, I think better than most people, that you want to do your own take on something. You want to go outside the box. You don't want to give people, you want to give people what they want, but not necessarily in the same way they're expecting it. If there's an opportunity to do something creative and cool and a little bit, whatever, take the risk, go for it. I don't think this was the opportunity to do that. I think you should have just given people a more traditional dragon and made it with a Hiccup minifigure. Is that his name? I think
Hiccup. Yeah.
Hiccup. Do that. Just do that. Give people that. Don't complicate it. Don't try to whatever. Because the other flip side of it is what we're seeing now. It being the only set, the first set, and 18 plus. This does not embody 18 plus. I don't know what makes this an 18 plus over the Stitch, or I don't know the pink character that's next to Stitch.
Stitch's girlfriend or whatever they're called. I don't know her name.
I don't know.
I don't understand that set either.
This to me does not embody 18 plus energy, and I would even if you did like the regular Toothless and Hiccup, I don't even think that need to be 18 plus either. So I wouldn't have done that move. I think they should do it eventually. I think you could justify in every capacity doing a full 18 plus line. You want to do, but then again, is that cannibalizing Ninjago because dragons, and does Lego want to allow that? And I would bet no, because they're paying that license. But also, you don't need to do How to Train Your Dragon for 13,000 years like you are with Ninjago. You do one line, two lines, you're done.
I think that's the problem. That's the sticky wicket with everybody, is that they literally just gave us an amazing looking dragon with this Ninjago Guardian dragon.
Yeah,
thing.
But the Ninjago people are not the How to Train Your Dragon people.
I understand that, but the How to Train Your Dragon people wanted that like epic looking action style
Yep.
of Toothless and Hiccup, right? They wanted that. They wanted Toothless with his wings out ready to take flight with Hiccup on his back or something, like they
You
wanted
could make
that.
them this big. You don't need to make them like a UCS. You do like a $75,
But then make it
list.
14 plus. Don't give us an 18 plus set that is an
That's what I
adult
mean, right?
set
Yeah.
that makes it look like a 14 plus set. Like this, the 18 plus version of Toothless looked like the 14 or 10 plus set that we got with Simba before they actually gave us the real 18 plus Simba,
Yep.
right? Like that's what it felt like. It was just a weird choice that they made here, and I once again I just feel like they completely missed. I think they missed their mark. I just think they missed their audience on that. They just weren't. They didn't
I agree.
have their ear to the ground on what the audience really wanted with a
I
set
think
like
it was
this.
very obvious. I think they, like I said, I think they tried to do something unique for the sake of doing it, and it didn't resonate. And it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. But now you got to wait year and a half, 2 years to get your proper Toothless. So hurry up and wait.
I don't know if they ever will. I think I worry when we get sets like that are already geared towards an adult at that 18 plus, where they're like, no, that's it. Like that's what we get. Kind of that. It worries me when they already hit us out of the gate, as opposed to the other way, where we saw it with like things like what is it, the 101 Dalmatians or Simba. They gave us like the younger version, and now the adult version. Like it goes that way. We were talking about this earlier with weird pricing structures when it came to things like Animal Crossing or Fortnite, right? So major properties that out of the gate, right, gave us really good sets, really well priced sets, and kind of shockingly so. And they're not holding back at all, doing the same thing again now with One Piece that they announced today and officially announced today, where they have a huge assortment of sets, ranging from $9.99 all US, right? By the way, $9.99 with the brickheads, all the way up to our 18 plus set for $329.99. That is a huge range of pricing, from brickheads to play sets to 18 plus sets, that invites a huge audience to come in and enjoy. That's something where Lord of the Rings missed its mark, right? Where Lord of the Rings said our entry point, which is now the Balrog set, which is still overpriced, right? That was the Shire, and that was still a $300 set. Like it didn't make sense. And they've completely changed that narrative with One Piece, and are like, here you go. This is the way things should be done. Look at all these amazing minifigures. Look at all these amazing sets. Look at all these amazing pieces for those that care about them. Look at the price to piece ratio. Look at all of the entry points that you have now with a property that's beloved by so many. I don't have any reference to it. I haven't watched a single thing of One Piece. I have no clue. But I'm looking at these sets and looking at these minifigures going, that's pretty dope. Like the fact that they put the stretchy minifig out there, and I'm like, where was that style in the Fantastic Four set that we just got that looked like an absolute turd in a soup bowl? Like, what was that? When you have the mold ready to go for your One Piece sets, like it's right there, man. They had the blueprint. What's going on?
They had the blueprint well before that with Miss Marvel 2 years
right, Miss
ago.
Marvel. Yeah.
Years ago. I've watched One Piece when I was really young, and I don't retain anything. And I haven't watched the Netflix version. I've heard it's very good. So a couple things. One, very curious to see, because One Piece is very dark, for one. Two, this is the Netflix version of this, not the anime, not the manga. So the people that like the manga, are they going to rock with Lego? I don't know if that audience is, I don't know how much of a Venn diagram that is. I don't think it's as big as people are anticipating necessarily. And it's a Netflix version of it. So to me, this would have been the opportunity to do your $200 set, call it a day, right? Because there's something else that Netflix has had their hands in, and that's exactly what they did. What theme is that, Zach?
That would be Stranger Things.
And Stranger Things is so much more of a global phenomenon in terms of a Netflix property than the One Piece. One Piece, is it bigger? Of course, in terms of the anime and the manga and in Japan. Of course. But if we're talking just the Netflix show, when that season finale, a series finale, it's like it's a moment and people waiting for so long. And the fact that we've only gotten one real Lego set being that buyer's house, and you have so many other opportunities to do so much more for Stranger Things, and it's Netflix, and we don't get it. Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's Netflix. Lego has done it before, and we still don't get it. So I don't know why. I don't know why. And you know for a fact, an absolute fact, they're not releasing Stranger Things stuff by the end of this year to time it out for New Year's a January 1st, like Stranger Things big set would be super dope because you could watch the finale and then go right there, right? To the Lego store next day. That'd be super dope. Not going to happen. Get that idea out of your head. But if they're not going to do it now, they're never going to do it. So when I look at this, I think of the lost potential of Stranger Things and Lego. That's all this brings me to. So anyways, that's that.
I think, I don't know what kind of global phenomenon Netflix has over One Piece. I feel like One Piece probably has more of a global reach, maybe even than Stranger Things does.
Netflix, okay, like I said, One Piece as a property, yes. The Netflix version of it, I'm not certain.
No, I'm sure Netflix version probably not, but the name itself probably carries more where they can see, because the characters, I haven't seen it. I'm assuming the characters are still named the same from the anime to the live action and so on and so forth. So I would think that even the name and whatnot will still carry some resonance with people and, internationally, even if they haven't seen the actual Netflix version of it, they're going to see, characters and ships and things that resonate with what they have in their anime. And that's probably what some of them will only need. This is making me want to finally turn on One Piece and check out season 1 on Netflix and figure out, because season 2 is just right around the corner. So now I want to see, and again, timely, once again, somebody has apparently a calendar in Denmark for this. There must be something else going on behind the scenes with Stranger Things, a licensing thing or something. There's got to be something else there that's preventing them from going down that path, because they clearly have a relationship with Netflix. They had at least a relationship with Stranger Things, and there are other opportunities to do some Stranger Things sets.
Plenty.
I mean, I was screaming for a Vecna's house in October. I was like, give me a Vecna's house for a Halloween set. Like, that's what I want.
I wanted the meat monster from the mall with Scoops Ahoy and whatever. Like, come on. I wanted, Zach. I want an arcade.
Right.
Give me an arcade.
Yeah, arcade.
Your stupid lack of obvious things you can do. Give me an arcade. It's been how long in this modular line and all these other opportunities? You have all these classic video games and all this. What? Give me an arcade, dude. The 80s or the 90s with the funky floors and the printed tiles and the neon and come on, you goombas.
All we really need is to give Brian a Peach's Castle with an arcade inside, and then he would be able to go to sleep happy. Give the man all the things, okay? Just give the man what he wants. Anyway, well done, Lego, when it comes to One Piece. I love what you've done here. I hope it does well. They're priced so well, and I made the joke. I mean, it's literally Lego being drug dealers with some of these properties. They give us all of these sets out of the gate. Their first runs with these sets at reasonable prices, good minifigs, all this stuff, and then they scale it all back when they give us their next group. Once they get you hooked, then they're like, oh, nope, we're changing the way we're doing things. But you've already started collecting them. You got to be a collector, so you got to collect all of them. So you got to collect this stuff too. But we're going to, instead of printed pieces now, we're going to give you stickers. And instead of, printed, minifigures, we're going to give you really crummy minifigures and blah, blah, blah. But you got to collect them because we already started it. That's how they get you. Freaking drug dealers out there, my friend. But one of the other things that they've finally announced, we got our first look anyway at the multi-year partnership with Nike, and it exists. I'm not a sneakerhead, so I leaned a little bit on my sneakerhead friends to tell me what their thoughts were and what did they think. But we got the brick built dunk slogan sign here, and they also announced some of the other apparel that they're going to be putting out, but it's all kids stuff. It's all geared towards kids. And again, Lego is a toy company, and there's been some pushback, the fact that they have seemed to be, at least out of the gate, marketing towards kids when it comes to the Nike things. Are they pulling a How to Train Your Dragon here and not really reading the room on who is actually the market for this set, or what?
Big issue is you can't do what you did with Adidas. And the Adidas collaboration was perfect because you got the apparel and then you got the shoe in the Lego box that looked like a shoe box. Massive. Well, obviously, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
They already did it. So they have to do something different. Now, this, I think, when you sketch it up, when you have it on the graph paper in Denmark, you're like, oh, this could be kind of cool. And then maybe when you're building it, you're like, okay, it's kind of cool that you have all this stuff going on. It's the letters that clearly look like they're in that Nike kind of font. You got the swoosh on there, basketball exclusive minifigure. Like, all these are all really cool elements. Build experience is good. Then you put it all together and you put it on a shelf. And you're like, this kind of sucks. It just kind of doesn't look like who would buy this? Who is this? This is not for the hardcore sneakerhead. Who wouldn't buy this in the first place? Because whatever. And then, is it for children who are fans of Nike, who are fans of basketball? Because they can't do the NBA because then that's only America. It needs to be a global product, right? So we're going to make a basketball man. All right, cool. What kid wants basketball man? Nobody. So it'll sit on a shelf and be gone.
Yeah.
That's it.
As our chat pointed out, they bricked the first shot. This was kind of a wah for me. I don't understand. You know what it reminded me of a little bit was the Rolling Stones logo, where it was like it was it, but it wasn't it. Like, it was close, but like the Nike swish is close, but it's not, because of the brick built version of it. It's like it's there, but it's not quite there, and the letters are there, but they're not quite there. The basketball is there, but it's not quite right. Like, there's just some of that. And yeah, they give us a really cool allegedly exclusive B-ball head minifigure to go along with this set, but whatever. I don't know. I'm not, I get they're kind of painted into a corner when it comes to doing something different than what they did with Adidas, because Adidas, they knocked it out of the park. Like, that was a really cool set.
Here's a forewarning, everybody. They're going to do the same thing with Pokemon. Mark my words. It's going to be the exact same thing. Watch. Clip it and ship it. It's going to happen.
Gross.
Same thing.
Gross. I'm not sure, what else to expect from them. This is obviously their first, try at this partnership, but I don't know how many people are going to be, going out. I really don't. I'm looking at my sneakerhead people out there. You got to let me know. You got to let us know. Are you a sneakerhead, and is this immediate, the first day buy kind of thing? Do you need some kind of gift with purchase to go with it to really entice you to do it? Something. I'm curious if you could put your business hat on, if you would care to take a guess. Would the Jordan license be different than the Nike, separate than Nike?
Yes.
It'd be two separate entities, right?
Also, and they don't. No.
So we might as well just go ahead and squash those ideas that we're going to be getting anything Air Jordan-esque
If
Lego.
you did a 1-to-1 Air Jordan, whatever the most iconic one is, I don't know, with a Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan minifigure, and then if you really wanted to, because you love signs, you have the Air Jordan out of bricks. Literally, okay.
That's what I wanted. I forget the shoe. I wanted the wall. I wanted that wall art. The
alternate reality. The shoe here is the Air Jordan in red. You have, instead of the dunk, you have the brick wall with the Jordan, Michael Jordan minifigure, and a basketball. Tell me that would not sell like hotcakes.
You wouldn't be able to keep it inside. Yeah.
Oh, it would
They'd
fly higher.
They were lined up yesterday
just
for
as high
that.
as Michael Jordan himself. Dude.
Yeah, they were lined up yesterday for that.
Dude.
Yeah.
And they just it's too much money.
Yeah. So that's what told me that was the case. Was this was their first set. Was it did not include him at all. That told me out of the gate, these are two separate entities. We're never getting anything Air Jordan-esque when it comes to Lego, and that sucks. Because I don't know what else you do with this partnership other than, again, you're making shoe. You went down the shoe thing before with the Adidas. Like, you went with the shoe that you can wear, that you can click your own little bricks on and stuff. Like, you've done that. Been there, done that. Great. These new kids Air Max shoes or whatever they're putting out, it's not the same. It's just got Lego coloring to it. Like, that's what it is.
And they're primary colors. It's not anything.
Exactly. And so now your first set that you introduce is this. And it's, the sneakerheads are going, I don't want this. I don't want to spend the money on
it. Definitely
this.
Looks like something a kid would have on their shelf, like the coloring of it and the basketball guy. Like, it's definitely for kids, but I don't think kids want this.
I mean, it's $100. It's not like it's kind of expensive too for what you're getting and what you're doing. I mean, it's the same thing the Marvel sign had problem with. It was for what you got. It was kind of expensive. And are you good?
This set needs Hawkeye. That would fix it, actually.
This set needs Hawkeye.
Completes the trilogy or whatever.
Oh man, he's locked away in the shoe somewhere. You'll never see him.
Sorry, Jeremy.
They offered him too little money to come back.
Half of what he was expecting or something.
My God,
like that.
Poor Hawkeye, dude. I said that. God, back to the Disneyland thing, man. I'm walking around getting all the merch and looking at all the merch, and of course I'm walking into the Marvel store and looking at all the Marvel store merch. And dude, they literally have a shirt. They've had this out for a couple years now, but they literally had a shirt that had all of your original Avengers from that first movie, right? Except Hawkeye. They didn't have anybody extra.
Weird.
Nobody extra. They had all of the original ones except Hawkeye. I was like, what? Whose soup did he poop in? What did he do? Because this is before, like, this was back. I saw this shirt last year too, right? Like, so this isn't even like new news. Like, this is something from last year. And I'm like, what is going on? What happened to Hawkeye? They didn't put him on. They didn't put him on the Lego Marvel site. They don't put him in any of the sets. They don't. What is wrong with our boy with the arrows, man? What'd Jeremy do?
And if anything, Scarlett Johansson had more of a falling out with Marvel than Jeremy Renner ever had. She's in everything. So I don't know. I mean, but Marvel owns all the characters anyways too. I don't know.
I think they were completely off topic here, but Renner put out thing where he did the interview where he said what he said about how they offered him up half the money to come back for season 2 and he turned him down. And but then we've got like a day later, you've got Robert Downey Jr. on the set tweeting out a picture or posting a picture of himself on Instagram reading Renner's book on set, right? And then it was like a week later, Renner was in London where they're shooting the film, but yet he's promoting his own book. He's out there promoting it. I'm like, come on, dude. Hawkeye's totally in Doomsday. This is all posturing. I'm telling you, it's all what it is. You wait and see. Hawkeye's going to be in that new movie. You wait and see. It's gonna happen. What a show, Mr. Bricks O'Brien. Boy, time just flies on by. And if you would like to stick around with us for a little bit, we will be doing a little bit of a post show afterwards. Welcome in all of our new friends and followers that have come in tonight here over on Twitch. But don't forget, if you want to catch us on the replay, you can catch us over on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can absorb your podcast. The show will be posted out there. But I love our new home here on Twitch, and we'll be interacting with you guys as soon as we close out the show here. So stick around for the ZMB Live Post Show. Thank you so much, Mr. Bricks O'Brien, for another amazing show.
Hey, man. You know, man. Hey, man.
Hey, man. We'll catch you guys next week. Until then, everybody. Bye!